Now it's time for the Radio Rumble. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker wants to take collective bargaining rights away from unions. It's all part of his budget repair bill. But is all the attention on this budget battle actually making the labor unions stronger? For what America thinks, we turn to our Radio Rumble from Washington, D.C. Screen left right there, you got Chris Plant from Milwaukee, James T. Harris, Center Square, and from Detroit, Nancy Skinner. Good morning to all of you.
Morning. Good morning.
All right, Nancy, let's start with you. Is what Walker's doing in Wisconsin making labor stronger and uniting them, or undermining them?
I think they're getting stronger because there is a call to action now. Whenever you attack someone's rights, fundamental rights, these people are going to get out in the street and the news coverage is going to be drawn to them. Then when people really understand what's going on here, that this isn't just about trying to cut the budget back, but to take away from them their most fundamental rights that they've earned over decades for collective bargaining. The polls, yesterday, a Reuters poll in Wisconsin said people don't want it. They don't want their rights taken away. Yes, cut back on some of the payroll.
Right.
Don't touch their collective bargaining rights.
Okay, you're talking about the polls. Chris Plant, what do the people who listen to your radio station, WMAL in Washington, what are they saying about this?
Well, first of all, collective bargaining power is not the same as a fundamental right. They're not taking away rights. They're renegotiating the terms of contracts. Secondly, what's going on here is I think that you see that the unions are uniting. They're uniting perhaps in death throes because the Republicans are tampering with their moneymaker. You know, this is the Democrats' money machine. This is the cycle of Democrat elections. They fund the unions fund them in return. In return, this cycle has been going on forever, and the unions see their own power being threatened here. And that's why they're uniting behind this cause. It's about their own power.
Well, James T. Harris is live in Madison right now. James, what do you think?
How you doing? Good. Well, you know, I agree with when you get Michael Moore and Jesse Jackson in the same place, you know, you may want to think that that's unity, but I think that that's showing that these are the last throes of death throes of the union. And what I also agree that this is not a fundamental right. How do you fight for or earn, I should say, a fundamental right? These have been negotiated over the years, and the fact of the matter is that states are broke. They can't afford this anymore. And so what you're seeing are the unions in Wisconsin fighting for the last vestiges of power, and that's what it is. Money is power, and because we're broke, they're losing power.
Okay, let's switch gears for just a second. Chris Plant, let's talk about this. On Thursday, down there in Washington, D.C., where you're sitting right now, Peter King, the congressman from Long Island, New York, is going to start these Department of Homeland Security hearings into the radicalization of people in the United States. And some members of the Muslim community are saying, hey, wait a minute, this is a witch hunt. What do you think?
Well, you know, I keep hearing these words like demonization and witch hunt. The problem that the Muslim community has is not Congressman Peter King. It's the repeated murderous attacks by people committing these crimes, these terrorist attacks in the name of Islam. That's the problem that they have, and they do have a problem with complacency and silence from the Muslim community. We're 10 years after September 11th. I couldn't even list for you because it's only a 3-hour show. All of the attacks that have occurred just in the United States since September 11th. So it's about time we got around to this.
James?
Well, you know, 3 weeks after the inauguration of Obama, we had Eric Holder, the Attorney General, saying that America was a nation of cowards because it didn't want to deal with race. Now we have a serious issue with radical Islam, and it seems like the Obama administration doesn't even want to say the word terrorist. And so it's one of these touchy situations, but because the administration doesn't want to deal with it, you know, it's boxed people like King and others into a corner, and we need to, you know, discuss this issue.
Hey, Nancy, James just touched on something where he said the administration reluctant to use the word terrorism. And you look back in 2009 at the Arkansas Recruiting Center, Fort Hood, the underwear bombing, and then in 2010, plots in Oregon and Maryland, and just last month where that Saudi national wanted to go blow up George W. Bush's house in Dallas. This administration initially would not call it terrorism, while it was. Why?
Well, I think Jon Stewart fully debunked that one, Steve, showing Obama using the word terrorism on many occasions. The issue here is you just can't always say Muslim terrorists, because when you put those two together, that association of always saying Muslim terrorists, then you are casting a pall upon the entire Muslim faith, as opposed to saying, and there is a national security question, how are they radicalizing some members, taking a good religion and somehow getting some of these members who are just disgruntled to become terrorists? That's a completely different question, and yes, it's worth asking, but it's like saying organized crime is all Italian mafia. That's what we say, right? And you make that association. Well, there's organized crime all over.
Well, I think we're going to have to leave it there for right now. But what's interesting is we discovered that Nancy uses Jon Stewart as her fact checker, which I think is pretty funny. All right, Chris Plant and James T. Harris and Nancy Skinner.
Anytime.
We thank you all. Yeah, he never does selective editing or stuff like that. No, never. All right. Thank you. Great panel.
Comedy is
Thank you. All right, Gretchen, over to you.
Thank you.